In the powerful invisible updrafts created by the mountains that surround Yellowstone National Park, ravens circle one of their primary sources of winter food. Though many of these corvids make the park their home, they routinely venture beyond its borders to feed on nutritious scraps humans leave behind, from household garbage to carcasses and animal offal left behind by hunters. Ravens and eagles fly many miles to dine on the free food. One mated pair of ravens has flown 30 miles from their nesting territory deep within the park to eat. And to join in the games, ravens typically play when meals turn into social gatherings. A raven's wings feature splayed primary feathers at their tip and a broad profile. It's the kind of wing that can catch a Yellowstone updraft and let the ravens soar with eagles, but it's still short and flexible enough to dive bomb bigger, less agile birds. Flexing the shape of their wings, ravens can literally fly circles around their majestic rivals, whether they are guarding their nests or just messing around. Messing around is something ravens have been seen to do a lot, and not just with other species. Play is a sure sign of intelligence, and ravens know how to play. Recent brain studies have confirmed what has long seemed obvious to any raven watcher. These birds sometimes do things simply because they are fun. Chemicals that stimulate nerve cells in the brain, dopamine and endorphins, motivate and reward pleasurable behaviors in birds. The same chemical phenomenon is true of humans and other animals. When it comes to innovation and understanding cause and effect, ravens outperform 7-year-old humans. The corvid's creative play seems boundless. Tug of war, keep away with an object, aerial displays that defy imagination. The list goes on and on. A lone pair of ravens leaves the swarm and the social play to return to its defended territory some 30 miles away, deep in the heart of Yellowstone. Although still in winter's grasp, the ravens must begin to prepare for the arrival of their next offspring. The Lamar River Valley, one of the most beautiful areas of the park, is where this mated couple have made their home for years. Once ravens pair, they stay together for life, bonding through rituals like mutual grooming, touching bills, and calling to each other in low vocalizations. Now in early April, with snow still on the ground, the team of two begins to build their nest. Stalked by a great horned owl, one of the raven's most feared rivals. This raven refuses to be bullied, defending its territory with a series of harassing moves and alarm calls. This intruder may not be budging. Not much larger than the raven, he knows he's being constantly watched. Ravens track the moves of other predators, like a coyote, for different reasons. Clearly, they've learned that one of the best ways to find food is to keep tabs on the hunters. Ravens are omnivores. They can feed on big game carrion or pursue smaller, fresher fare. The mating dance of the golden-eyed duck is about to be rudely interrupted by a golden eagle, whose dives can reach 180 miles per hour, and whose 3-inch talons can easily snag a preoccupied duck. The raven couple immediately launches an attack of its own. Alarm calls echo throughout the surrounding mountains. Golden eagles are one of the raven's major predators. The preemptive strike is designed to force the eagle to fly away from the nest and perhaps even leave its duck dinner behind. The red-tailed hawk is more the raven's size, but still a dangerous threat. When a hawk gets too close to the nest, the mated pair of ravens work as a team to harass it from the area, communicating all the while through their calls. Scientists have identified 30 distinct raven calls, including one that summons other ravens to their fight. This rallying cry may advertise a bird's status, while also acting to intimidate and inform the intruder. While the pair fights to establish their territory for the coming year and keep a constant presence in the area, they continue to construct the nest itself, flight by flight, twig by twig. Dead trees along the river offer many opportunities to break off sturdy twigs. Larger sticks up to a meter in length comprise the outer layer of the nest, with finer twigs, roots, and sometimes bones, wire, paper, mud, and grass forming a mid-layer. Last year's nest is long gone, a casualty of the harsh Yellowstone winter. The ravens return to the same tree and begin rebuilding for the new season. Other pairs in the park are refurbishing nests on cliffs, under bridges, and even on buildings and towers. As the spring melt gets underway, many species are also returning, and a non-stop competition for territory and food begins. Ravens' body size puts them right in the middle of the Yellowstone food chain, and like class clowns, ravens use their wits to defend themselves against the larger birds of Yellowstone who have long, sharp talons and who survive by killing and eating other animals. In just a week, the nest has begun to take on the size and shape suitable for raising a new brood. In order for eggs and hatchlings to survive Yellowstone's cold spring temperatures, these sticks are going to need some added insulation, and the raven knows just where to get it. A quarter-mile from the nest, a freshly killed bighorn sheep provides a meal for some magpies and temptation for a coyote. Meanwhile, the mountain lion who made the kill, stomach full, rests nearby. And too close for the coyote. There are now up to 45 mountain lions in Yellowstone. They prey on sheep and smaller animals, especially marmots. But the raven is here seeking fur, not food. Sheep's wool will help provide a warm bed for raven eggs in the mountain air, where average low temperatures in spring still fall below freezing. The raven doesn't pass up the opportunity to send a message to a magpie. When complete, the nest may be a meter or more across, half again as tall, and weigh several kilos. Not far upstream from the raven nest, a large cottonwood tree is just beginning to bud. A quick check for another bird's nest and its eggs comes up empty. It's still too early in the year for small birds to begin nesting in the cottonwood. Yellowstone ravens have much larger fare than eggs available to them, like this bison carcass from an animal that's fallen through the ice. But how to open up such a large package? If only there was a way to rip open its hide. One appears. A grizzly bear mother and 2 cubs have gotten wind of the carcass. They quickly assert their dominance, chasing the raven from the scene, for now. And the cubs give it their best try. Mom shows them how it's done. Using her enormous claws, she rips open the bison's hide and allows the picnic to begin. Through it all, the raven waits its turn. Once the bear family has had their fill, it very quietly makes its way to the waterside, where it has the entire carcass to itself. Ravens only need an average of 1/4 pound of meat daily to survive. In a prime example of forward thinking, this corvid will distribute much more meat among secret hiding places, safely storing them for future meals. A lone raven trying to join the feast is intercepted in mid-flight. Soon, the 2 have locked talons and are cartwheeling earthward. Message delivered. Once it lays eggs, it's up to the female to keep them safe, using a featherless patch on her breast called a brood patch to keep them warm even in deadly cold temperatures. The male must bring her all the food she needs during this period. The female's alarm call signals danger. Another male is approaching the nest. She fights off his advances until her mate returns and once again defends the territory. Sometimes these nest attacks succeed. Even though ravens mate for life, their family's gene pool may include other strains. Snow in springtime is a common occurrence at Yellowstone's high elevation. Back at the bison carcass, the grizzly family has returned for another course. Once again, the raven must wait his turn. This time, though, the raven hovers much closer, provoking the cubs to chase him. Are they falling into the raven's trap, being led further and further away from the carcass? Or are they just playing in the snow? Any moving target is worth investigating. The wide open spaces of Yellowstone are actually crisscrossed with invisible boundaries the wildlife define and defend. When another eagle crosses that boundary, the fight is on. including the ultimate aggressive action, grasping talons in midair, sending both birds tumbling earthward. By late April, new life emerges across the valley. The confluence of Soda Butte Creek and the Lamar River provides a major grazing spot for the largest free-ranging bison herd on Earth. The raven couple gets a bird's-eye view of one of wildlife's greatest migrations and its greatest miracle, birth. Right below the raven's nest. Like humans, bison gestate for 9 months before giving birth. And each birth is astounding and awe-inspiring. The male raven hops down from the nest to nab some of the nutrient-rich placenta. Between the bison mother and the local raven, the afterbirth is soon cleared away. Just minutes after it's born, the calf is on its legs and joining the herd, while the raven heads back home to feed its young. Along the way, it flies too close to a blackbird's nest, and the blackbird gets a ride. Briefly. Back at the nest, the 4 hatchlings have emerged from the eggs, and they are hungry. During the first several days of life, the young are fed mostly insects. Their bright red mouths signal youth and submission while presenting easy targets for parents to fill. After 5 weeks, the helpless hatchlings are nearly full-grown and well-feathered juveniles. Now it's time for them to learn to fly. Good thing, too, because the growing family is making things too crowded, and the nest is starting to show wear and tear. Spring winds begin blowing through the valley, buffeting the tall cottonwood tree. It's clear the nest can no longer serve as a home. It's time to leave. The juveniles have been repeatedly testing their wings, but they still cannot fly. Getting down to the ground and safety will take a few dozen hops instead. About a quarter of all nests in Yellowstone fail before this time. Many succumb to strong winds or predation by eagles and owls. This brood of 4 is typical for Yellowstone ravens. The young that survive will stay in the parents' territory for most of the summer. Meanwhile, for some reason, these parents, after spending weeks to build the nest, they begin taking it apart. Ravens are not known for dismantling their carefully constructed nurseries. Now both ravens are free to look for food where they can find it. This mother goose is worried. And with good reason. She is outnumbered. In seconds, one bird's loss is another's gain. Just across the river, the 4 juveniles wait. It will be another month before they can feed themselves. Gone are the days when they just needed to open their mouths to receive food. Now they jostle with each other. First to the egg gets the initial crack at it. There is a correct way to eat an egg. Peck whole an egg, raise egg, and drain egg. A pecking skill that needs to be learned as well. Maybe next time. The adult raven will not let the spilled egg go to waste. The common merganser is keeping her babies close to the shore, away from the rapid water further out. This puts them in range of the raven family. One juvenile calls encouragement. A meal is at hand. The duck puts up an impressive fight, and this time the adult raven comes up empty, much to the juvenile's disappointment. The tree that now looms above the ravens on the ground has been claimed by a pair of American kestrels. The cottonwood's soft, lightweight insides make it easy for birds to carve out cavities, ideal nesting spots for the small falcons. But not only them. Mergansers also like to nest in cottonwoods. And the trees are in scarce supply along the Lamar River. The stage is set for a battle of neighbors that won't stop until summer. If it's surprising to think of waterfowl nesting in a tree, what about a duck taking a raptor for a ride? The juvenile raven's hunting instincts are already sharp enough to scout out the kestrel's nest. Not ready for air-to-air combat, it still has the ability to annoy. Ravens are notoriously restless, always looking for something to do. Humor seems to be a way to pass the time. Feeling a bit bored one long afternoon? Why not poke a bison calf? Or, if you are a juvenile waiting for a food delivery, let's think of a game to play. First, pick a feather off the ground. Next, taunt your sibling with it. It's the tug of war. And the winner gets a feather. Consider all the thought processes that the juvenile had to go through to be successful. Not the least, some fancy footwork to win the day. The Yellowstone Park wilderness seems timeless. But nature is constantly changing. And ravens must adapt or die. This year, there are more turkey vultures in the valley. Their keen sense of smell makes finding even the smallest bits of carrion easy. And their social nature brings many mouths to the meal. Yet another rival for the smaller raven to contend with. By late June, a significant milestone is reached. The juveniles can fly. And this means they can join in on the hunt and feed themselves. While still getting the occasional treat from mom or dad. The young ravens key in on motion and soon learn the difference between floating bison fur and a real meal. Grasshoppers and other insects provide an excellent and abundant source of protein. But you have to catch them first. Sibling rivalry can be part of the fun, but there's a serious side too. Play fights can turn into real ones, revealing which individuals are taking on more dominant roles. Slower-moving bugs can be found within and beneath one of the countless bison-dried manure pies found along the valley floor. Fly larvae, spiders, and ants are among the easy pickings, if you can get it turned over. And then the pie can be used as a keep-away toy. After an afternoon of feeding, playing, and fighting, a puddle bath. During the summer months, an estimated 3,000 bison make their home in the Lamar Valley and surrounding mountains. Ever-vigilant ravens keep a close eye on the yearly drama of the bison rut, when males battle for the right to breed. The roars of the bulls echo across the valley. Some of these are fights to the finish. A fresh bison carcass quickly draws a crowd. This will be the first carcass that the cottonwood juveniles will have encountered. But these spoils go to the strong over the swift, as a young grizzly shows up and stakes its claim, just before a second young predator arrives. The wolf seems more interested in play than food. Though he manages a quick bite to go. Interpreting this kind of behavior is an inexact science. Is it play or protecting a food source? Neither animal is growling. The chase extends far past the carcass. Neither animal comes close to biting the other. That might be play, but it could also be a serious challenge by a young wolf to the grizzly, or a young male establishing its alpha credentials, or the simple release of pent-up energy. Natural scenes like these that scientists study closely, always checking their assumptions, trying to fill in vast gaps in our knowledge of other species with whom we share the planet. Juveniles do not stay within their parents' territory. In fact, the parents no longer coddle or tolerate their offspring on the natal soil. The juveniles are on their own. Dispersing, some will travel many hundreds of miles away in search of a mate, territory, and food. Some fly to the park's higher elevations. Here, a new food source awaits, the seeds of the whitebark pine. The tree is completely dependent on the nutcracker to disperse its seeds. A single bird will often carry 100 seeds at a time, tucked away in a special pouch beneath its tongue. Across the landscape, it will establish hiding places or caches, where it carefully deposits a few seeds at a time and then covers them with a rock. In a single season, one Clark's nutcracker can bury up to 100,000 seeds. Most of the hidden seeds will provide future meals for the nutcracker. A few others will be forgotten, take root, and become new trees. And still others will be robbed by observant ravens. Unfortunately, whitebark pines are facing multiple challenges to their survival. Their demise could trigger a crisis for several species in the Mountain West. Ravens tagged with GPS monitors have given scientists a new understanding of their movements across the park and beyond. Yellowstone is one of the best places to study ravens because of its wide varieties of terrain, weather extremes, and the many other wild species ravens must interact and compete with to survive. One raven maintains its connection to territory in the Lamar Valley, but regularly commutes outside the park to forage on hunting grounds and in towns and communities beyond its borders. For birds, who also depend on the seeds for food, the task of breaking into the pine cones can be more daunting. The whitebark pine cones are particularly tight and difficult to crack. They must be pried open by force, something only a few birds are designed to do. Few trees can survive at this altitude, but the whitebark tree can live up to 400 years. Overlapping images of one Yellowstone tree, filmed 15 years apart, show how little has changed in the size of the tree. Grizzly bears are one of many species that benefit from the whitebark pine. Its seeds contain nearly as much protein as meat and are full of fat, and their large size can make for a generous meal. In years when the pine cones are plentiful, bears will return to the trees on a daily basis to fatten up for their winter hibernation. Consuming as many seeds, cones and all, as they can get their claws on. As the days get shorter and temperatures drop, ice begins to form on many of the thousands of ponds and lakes across Yellowstone Park. As the ice expands, cracking sounds echo across the landscape. A raven calmly stalks a family of otters, causing a brief moment of concern. But it's just the raven thinking a few steps ahead. This pond is full of trout, and before long, these otters will be leaving the waterside strewn with scraps of fish and fish eggs. The raven is content with leaving the difficult work to others. Winter in Yellowstone can be punishing to all who live there. During this time, most wildlife seek shelter at lower elevations, where the conditions are less severe, or simply go to sleep under the snow. Many leave the park altogether. Even the bison, rugged and built to withstand low temperatures, will leave if snow is too deep. But human hunters wait at the boundary to kill bison for food. Ravens know when the hunt is on and often travel 100 miles in a day, looking for the hunter's leftovers. In 1995, ravens and many other animals that depend on scavenging for survival received a huge gift. Wolves returned to Yellowstone Park for the first time in about 70 years. In a single year, wolf packs in Yellowstone will kill between 150 and 200 large animals. This reintroduction created a living laboratory for those studying one of the most fascinating interspecies relationships in the wild. Soon after the kill, the carcass will be mobbed by up to 100 ravens. Each raven is capable of ripping off half a pound of meat in a single day. A young pack member is assigned the task of scattering the ravens. It's quite possible the ravens and the wolf are enjoying this little game of tag, one that can be seen at every wolf kill in Yellowstone. Once the wolves are full, they trudge off to a well-earned nap, leaving the ravens to throw a party around the carcass. After the wolves have left, carcass scenes are a great place for scientists to study raven behavior, with all kinds of social activity on full display. Many of the ravens here are looking for more than a meal. They're here to check out the scene, defend territory, form associations, look for mates, and figure out where they stand in the current hierarchy. And a lot of this is communicated through feathers. Want to project dominance? Display your shaggy throat feathers. Make your head feathers stand up like ears. The shy, subordinate birds display fuzzy heads, and when approached by a dominant individual, they cower and shrink away, making it clear there will be no challenge. You know the party's almost over when the last scrap turns into a game of keep-away. And then it's really over when the bald eagle ends the game. Dominant ravens claim the prime spots at a carcass, while subordinates mill around, looking for the chance to sneak in for a bite. When two dominant types collide, it's game on. And in the melee, a few bystanders can try to land a punch. A raven party is a noisy affair. Trills precede fights. Hungry subordinates yell for food they are unable to obtain. Horse croaks announce a dominant male. Ravens in Yellowstone check in regularly with North America's most lethal hunters. One study found that in the park, nearly 90% of the time, where there is a wolf, there is a raven. When a wolf starts to eat, the news spreads widely among ravens. A young wolf plucks a small shrew out of the water. It's the smallest mammal in Yellowstone. The shrew is too small for the wolf to bother eating. One raven distracts the wolf, so another can grab the shrew. Whatever the case, wolves seem curious about the antics of ravens. Another bond might be a shared sense of humor. Wolves love to play amongst themselves, often some combination of tag and keep away, so it's no surprise they like to chase and jump after ravens too. But wolves can't follow them everywhere. Ravens often take their games to the sky, performing aerial maneuvers and stunts that seem to have no other purpose than to explore and enjoy their ability to fly. Two ravens are first to some prized leftovers, an elk's stomach. It's not long before a coyote stakes its claim. And then a third uninvited guest. A golden eagle swoops in determined to win the day. Most coyotes would surrender after being raked with eagle claws. But this one puts up a fight. These two aren't playing. Ravens are smart enough to stay clear when these two battle. But in other cases, clashes between larger scavengers can lead to opportunity. These ravens are nimble enough to stay just beyond the reach of a bald eagle's lethal talons, and smart enough to stay within range of the carrion. So when a second bald eagle arrives, ready to fight, they can quickly grab a beakful while the bigger birds bicker. Competition is a constant in Yellowstone. Sometimes it seems whatever one has, others will want. When a bald eagle drops a piece of straw in the process of building a nest, a raven is quick to check it out. Once the wind catches it, a coyote joins the pursuit. Which interests a wolf. And if an eagle, a raven, a coyote, and a wolf all think this is so special, why wouldn't a grizzly want to check it out too? Further signs of spring. Ice breaking up over a freshwater spring. And a grizzly is here to fish. It's not looking for trout. It's casting for dead bison, which may have broken through the ice this past winter. Grizzly bears may not be able to fly, but they can plunge fearlessly into icy waters. No luck this time. Despite the ravens cheering it on, no animal seems safe from the ravens' shenanigans. Sandhill cranes arriving to establish their nesting sites get the sideways hop treatment. It's a special technique, allowing the raven to keep an eye on the crane while poised for a sudden takeoff should the joke go too far. This penchant for being social is more than superficial. Hanging around other animals in Yellowstone, closely observing their behavior, provides ravens with lessons in living and survival. What could a grizzly sitting in the snow teach a raven? He's here to cool off. The fur coat that warmed him during winter hibernation is overkill in early spring. Bear yoga helps stretch muscles that have not been used for several months. The raven mimics the snow bath, but skips the yoga for now, then rolls to clean the back feathers. Or perhaps for the fun of it. The grizzly will continue to wallow in the snow, even though the temperature may be near freezing. Bone marrow is a prime meal for all meat eaters. Worth the effort of getting a long beak further and further into the bone. Bears have an easier time, crushing the bones and dipping long claws, and fish out the marrow, and making the marrow accessible to the raven. The raven pair has survived another winter, and come spring will be once again in the Lamar River Valley. Their young from the previous year have earned their place in the raven world. Some have found mates in Yellowstone, others have left the park altogether. Now, a new year awaits the couple. Once again, they will be seeking a variety of food from bison carrion to human refuse to goose eggs to pine seeds. All the while defending their territory from other ravens. And being ravens, they always will find time to play.